Many of us enjoy playing a musical instrument with aspirations to play as a soloist, in an orchestra, a group, or just for our own personal satisfaction. The rewards can be great at whatever level we play, but getting there can be an experience of both pain and pleasure. For ambitious young musicians, there are no shortcuts to success. And as Sophie Ryan returns home from a hard day's work at school, her daily routine of practicing and homework is about to begin.
I started playing the violin when I was 5, so that's 10 years ago. Well, I've always liked it, and I've started thinking about it as my career now. Now we're doing it at school, learning about careers, but I can't really imagine doing anything else. When I come home from school, I usually get the practicing done out the way, so then I can relax at night. Because when you come home from school and you're tired, you don't really want to spend hours practicing, but you have to if you're going to get anywhere. Well, I'd like to be a soloist, but it's really, really competitive, and so I wouldn't mind whatever I did. Like, there's so many things, I'd be interested in it all.
Success demands commitment, not only from Sophie, but from her parents as well.
She seemed to get singled out quite early on to play little things in concerts and lead orchestras when she was quite young and things like that. And in a way, I think other people spotted it, and that transferred itself to her probably, and then we sort of encouraged it, you know, and supported it. Well, when Sophie first started playing the violin, it entailed little local lessons which lasted about half an hour, and they weren't very far to go to. So it does seem a lot to outsiders, but we haven't noticed it so much because it's gradually come upon us, and it's the same with the cost, which is another big factor. You start off paying for your small lessons, and gradually the lessons last a bit longer, the teachers are slightly more expensive, and then the music's more expensive, the strings, everything, the violin, and so you have to keep up with that.
Not all young children are given the encouragement or have the means to learn. And in a technological age when most music is heard through television, radio and CDs, a unique chance to listen to live music can be their first opportunity to understand and enjoy the sounds and rhythms an instrument can make.
Well, we're presenting a concert to the children which comprise many different styles of music, many different instruments. I think that's important because a lot of music is just a noise in the background, they're unaware of where it comes from or how it's made. But if they see us, they see all the instruments live, be aware that they're actually being played, which might inspire some of them to want to learn to play. I think it's important then for them to realise that it's a part of everyone's lives, and that somebody is making that music, and that somebody could be them. And it doesn't matter whether it's of a high standard or a low standard, the point is the enjoyment.
I believe that every child should be given the opportunity to learn as many different things as possible, and learning a musical instrument is one of those wonderful things that can so develop a person's personality and give them a sense of themselves. I think that's important. So a live performance is a major stimulus, because learning is never a sort of continuous process. It often seems to go in sort of plateau, and then a stimulus happens and people move on. And so by giving a regular input into schools will actually give this series of boosts which over a period of months and years will enhance, if you like, the quality of life and produce a series of stimuli for all the children who are learning.
The discipline of playing and learning an instrument develops lifelong skills that we can always return to and rediscover at any age. And like many older people, Harry and Jo Sampson have returned to their passion for playing the violin together in later life. Their determination to continually practice and improve their playing is as great as it has ever been.
I started to play the violin because my father brought this instrument home from an auction room, and I thought it was a tremendous. I regret that he hadn't brought a piano. I started on the piano, but there we are. But it formed a large part of my later life, playing the violin, and at the time I could spend hours playing. It was great fun having a violin, yes. I used to feel a bit embarrassed carrying it across the town to my lesson. I didn't care very much for that angle of playing.
Well, if I can get over the frustration of all the little difficulties, then it's just that it takes you out of yourself. I think it's one of these activities which does take you out of yourself. Besides, playing with others is so enjoyable when you can make a harmony, which after trying is correct, and you can play pieces which you've heard and like and can repeat. And also meeting people, I suppose, going to orchestra.
Yeah, there's a social side, isn't there?
Yes, social side, which is very important.
There are so many factors. I think one of the difficult things is to remain reasonably relaxed on the instrument and get a reasonable sound, you know, and not a scratch. The other thing, I think, apart from the gymnastics involved, is the intonation. You know, you've got to listen most intently. It takes a lot of concentration to hit the right note. Yes, one should be able to get a decent tone out of a single note.
I think it's a good lesson in modesty and in what life is about, really, because you struggle, and sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. And if you do, yes, you get intense pleasure out of it, and if you don't, well, at the time you're upset, but then you say, well, try again next time, better next time, and I think that's what it is. It's a mixture of pleasure and frustration, yes. I don't remember the end.
Without the piano there, I think it's a bit bare, isn't it?
I'm playing in a concert with Young Sinfonia, which is an orchestra based in Newcastle, and we're playing the Bartok Romanian folk dances, and I'm leading the orchestra for my first time. In one of the sections of the piece there's a short solo for violin, which I have to play. In my violin lessons, half of it's on scales and technique, then the other half's on the pieces which I'm playing. And they're just more hard work, they're not really so much fun. I mean, I enjoy them, but they're more hard work and concentration.
Sophie came to me about 3 years ago, and at that stage, although she had this initial talent and real love for it, she didn't realise that, you know, you need to be doing, certainly now at 15, 4 or 5 hours practice a day, and she hadn't really understood that. So I suppose in the last 3 years I've tried to be quite gentle with her and yet pushed her at the same time. Her progress has been, particularly I think in the last year, has been really phenomenal actually, and quite exciting. Already made quite a big breakthrough. I mean, I think in one's career one makes many breakthroughs. You know, you get up, you get up against obstacles, and then you go through that. And I suppose it's the ones who keep going that eventually make it. Good. Okay. Now you're playing this Bartok.
Yeah.
When's the concert?
Saturday.
Right.
Yeah.
And did you find any problems with it, balance or?
No, it was fine. Just played through it.
Right. And what sort of speed were they playing it? Vibrate. Here. Yeah. The other thing which is important is that you make sure that the only finger that is on when you play that G is the G. And in fact, on that note, because it's the fourth finger, which is the most important note of the, well, you say it is, I go along with that, you do least amount of vibrato. So you need to, you know, we talked in the scales about thinking, string crossing, thinking, shifting. I think as you get towards that note, you need to think vibrato. It is an addictive thing. I mean, the music's addictive because you want to play it and you want to express yourself and express the music, of course, in your own particular way. Yeah, that's good. The fact that you've got suddenly a lot of bow, that's fine, but make it work for you. Don't be embarrassed. Da 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 dee. And try and see behind the music on the page.
To play like Sophie means an early introduction to music is essential, but as ever, it's never too late to learn. And for Alan Dryden, playing music has been a lifelong ambition.
Well, playing an instrument was something that I'd always wanted to do. It was something that I felt that I wanted to achieve. It was like learning to drive a car, learning to walk, learning to run. Well, I work full-time for the Health Authority as a chiropodist, which is a very demanding job. And I find that I do come home very, very tired, and all I want to do is lie down and maybe have a drink, have something to eat, and that's about it. But it is difficult, as I said before, to find the time to practice. But once you start to do something and you find that you're beginning to do it properly and you hear the sound of the music, that is sufficient to spur you on to practice more, knowing that you're getting somewhere and you're achieving something. As a child, I never really had the opportunity because when I was at school, the only people who could play an instrument, which was the recorder, were girls. It wasn't possible for boys to play then. And I don't think, certainly when I was much younger, I didn't have that level of commitment or maybe even concentration either. Thanks, Jackie.
Music as a career is a dream come true for Alan's guitar teacher, Zoe Wadey. And teaching late learners like Alan alongside the demands of teaching younger pupils is nothing new as she cycles home to prepare for her evening lessons.
Parents quite often see going through grade exams as a little bit extra, getting some qualifications maybe, but not many. I don't think many people see it as a way to a career. A lot of my students have picked up an instrument later in life. Sometimes, most usually, they take it up as a hobby, as a relaxation. When you're learning later on, you're doing it because you want to do it and you're keen. That there are less distractions. They're not having to work towards their A-levels or whatever. They don't have to go out and play football every day and hang out on the street corners. So it's actually quite a good time to learn. Excellent time to learn. They're having lessons because they want to and not because they're being pushed into it.
Well, sometimes I'm okay and sometimes I'm just an absolute dead loss. Sometimes it is awful because I just can't concentrate, and I think sometimes once you play a wrong note, you just play, it just all goes to pieces, and then you try and get it right and you get frustrated with yourself and you feel stupid. But you just have to put the instrument down and pick it up and try again. Wasn't too bad. Well, to play the music, I always position myself at least on the first few notes, and then I know I can get those right. But after that, things go a bit haywire.